Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Bastards post-game show. I just wanted to let you know that the British are coming. Oh, I'm only kidding. Brendan and I are dressed in red. There's no attack.
The
There's
red
no
coats.
nothing. We just are. We're just in our Wednesday night reds. I want to welcome you in. I am Nick. Again, this is Brendan. We're here to talk about tonight's latest loss for the Boston Red Sox. They lost by a final score of 5-0 against the Rays. Brayan Bello was your starter. He went 6 innings, gave up 5 runs. I guess the story of tonight, though, Brendan, was Alex Cora giving Justin Turner kind of a final bow at Fenway Park just to say thank you from everything. So let's talk first and foremost about the game itself. And then I want to hear what your opinion was on the Turner front. And then I also
Okay.
want to turn the page and I want to talk about something that happened in Cleveland tonight from an old friend. So what was your overall takeaway from tonight's game?
Well, you're trying to get reps on Bayo. He's been struggling with location on the four-seamer, and the struggles continued in the Fenway finale. He gave up 2 bombs, I believe, in this game. So hate seeing that coming out of this kid. He's trying to get through the end of the season. I think this is the last game we'll see of Brayan Bello for 2023. Hope to see some marginal improvement for next season, of course, after he's got a full season under his belt. Um, but yeah, you had Justin Turner play all the way through the 6th, and then the big farewell for the season. He has an opt-in for his contract,
Quote unquote.
but we'll have to see. He made a lot of strides for this team this year in terms of on and off the field. Fundamentals was something we were singing praises for because the team lacked it so much. But Justin Turner had those, and he was a leader for the club. He knew how to put the ball in play when he needed to. What a piece. And he was fielding first. I saw him field second. I saw him field third. Swiss Army knife. The guy was phenomenal this season.
I want Turner back next season. I'm not going to beat around the bush with it. I think Justin Turner was somebody that became infected so much in a good way to the fan base, to the city, meant a lot to a lot of people and a lot of specifically some people on the team in the clubhouse. So I would welcome Justin Turner back with full of vengeance for next season. I don't care if he's going to be 39 years old. The guy can still do it. He's a professional. I totally would have him back. I do also want to apologize, folks, if I look out of it, if my voice is not the same. I am exhausted, and we had a long day for our sports zone stuff. So if anybody freaks out and says, "Is something wrong with Nick?" No, nothing's wrong with me. Just a little tired.
We had a
um,
big day.
I didn't get a Kikuchi in me, so what can I
Nope.
say? No Kikuchi. The other piece I want to mention, like you talked about, was Brayan Bello. We need to put the brakes on Brayan Bello being called an ace. We need to. It just needs
Definitely.
to stop. There's no more talking about that. His second half was not good. He's going to finish the season going 12-11 with a 4.26 ERA. Not bad, but again, a guy that was told by so many people in the media, here's your up and coming guy. He's got resemblances of Pedro. Here he comes. Brendan, we've talked about it, and I've said before, there's nobody on this team that I feel that I have to say I have to keep. Everybody is up for reins on this team, in my opinion. Everybody. If there's a deal out there to be made, make it happen. But I am not sold on really anything that this roster has. I thought it was a class act of what Alex Cora did for Justin Turner. Like we said, I think that you're going to see some changes next season. And I do think that if you are attached to Justin Turner, don't get attached because I don't think that it's probable that he'll be back. I don't. I think we're going to see another Adrian Beltre kind of thing. It was one season and he's going to
Yep.
move on and go to the next. He came here advertised by Kike Hernandez. Kike is not here anymore, of course. Yes, there's Kenley Jansen that's here. And you also have Chris Martin, who were players with the Dodgers and everything. But it's going to be a new nucleus for this team for next season, and I'm excited to see what they do put together. We're at the 5-minute mark, and I just want to mention that the Red Sox next series is going to be against the Orioles. It's a 4-game set at Camden Yards. Chris Sale throws tomorrow. I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't. It's let's get this done with and let's get to the off season. You're playing meaningless baseball games.
Yep.
I have never in my lifetime said I don't care. I'm not inclined to watch. I'm a diehard, but I just can't watch this product. I can't. So I'm looking forward to 2024. We'll see what happens with that. But I do want to turn the page right now and talk about the Cleveland Indians, because tonight was the final game for Terry Francona as what do you call
In
it?
Cleveland.
I want to say Jacobs Field, but it's Progressive Field. For
Yeah.
Cleveland, in Cleveland, they did a nice little send off and everything for him. In my opinion, greatest manager that the Red Sox have ever had. A person that is no doubt about it, a Hall of Famer and a class act, and the one that got away.
Oh, yeah.
He should still have been the manager. It was never Francona's fault from 2011. He got 2 championships, and ownership said, you know what? We think it's better for this team to move in a different direction. That is just sinful. And I really think that's where the tide started to fall, with a lot of the fan base starting to have a lot of problems with the Henry group, with Werner and Henry and Lucchino, and then Theo, of course, leaving at the same time. What does Terry Francona mean to you?
Oh, well, it was just stability of a contending team in Boston. I'll never forget, just I don't know how strong his jaw muscles ever got to be, just constantly on the bubblegum and seeds all day long. But man, oh man, he just knew he was a big time manager that was also developing talents. I mean, you had amazing talents like Poppy, Petey, and Ellsbury all develop under this guy, and also was willing to make big time decisions in games in 2004, 07. I mean, the club was never the same once he left. Don't even get me started on like the Valentine era and then Farrell. Cora is the closest thing that came to as a big time manager,
I'll
but
agree with that.
never on the same level as player development, and that's the next step for him. He announced he'll be here next year, so we'll see what his role will be. But yeah, just a voice of stability, really, and a just Hall of Fame level manager, not just in Red Sox history, but in MLB history.
I remember when Grady Little was fired after the whole 2003 era, from the Red Sox not getting to the World Series from the Aaron freaking Boone home run off Wakefield. And I remember that the Red Sox they were putting out a lot of different interviews to figure out who this next person up was going to be. And Terry Francona just happened to be that guy that checked everything off. He was the former bench coach for the Oakland Athletics at the time, I think for 2003, and came in my eyes, with probably a lot of pressure to win. And he probably would have been out the door after getting swept. If they ended up getting swept in 2004 by the Yankees, he probably would have. But then everything changed with the Dave Roberts steal and the 2 come from behind wins in extra
Yep,
innings to get to Game 6 with the bloody sock, and for the
greatest
Red Sox
comeback of all time.
finally to get that Game 7 at Yankee Stadium, and then against the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, in a way, his definition of what he meant to Boston was signified from that World Series. He didn't have to do another damn thing, and he would have already been beloved no matter what happened. And then you had 2007, which was just another year of just greatness. A guy that also managed so many personalities, happened to manage Manny Ramirez, Kevin
Yep.
Millar, the Johnny Damons, the David Ortizes, the Kurt Schillings of the world. That's a tough task to face. And the man was able to do it, and do it successfully. When everything comes down to it, you're going to look at a guy that's got 2 World Series titles, multiple pennants, for the Red Sox and with the Indians and everything. It's a shame in 2016 that he wasn't able to get a World Series championship. I know the Cubs won. That was great for history and everything. And that was probably a World Series where I could have flipped a coin on figuring out who I actually wanted to win. It was rooting John Lester on and John Lackey on and Theo Epstein on, and then you're rooting on for Tito Francona. And I think he had another couple of different Red Sox players that were involved with that team too. So exciting times and everything for him. We wish Terry Francona all the best, and hopefully there's something that he'll still be doing outside of managing, because the game of baseball, at least for our eyes, at least for me, that is Terry Francona. So it's going to be weird without seeing him be a part, but I'm sure that he'll be doing something. That's going to do it here tonight on our podcast. Sorry we ran a little bit late, but we wanted to give Tito the proper tribute and send off. We're sending it off now. We will see you next time. Good night.